first they did with Obama. In America, all you need are talking points to get the younger generation into the booths. So all you need to do is put Lady Gaga soundtracks behind the VP clicking her way in her heels on her way to the White House. And they're flooding there to give praises, to tout her up. And she's going a very wise route called marketing. Marketing. The Gen Z are smart. They know that this is an impossible pivot that has happened in America, even though church is not so clued up on that. An old man was going up against another old man, but one man was Father Time and the other one was just a standard old man. So it was a no-brainer. The gap was widening. But in a sudden coup, a stunning move, actually, if you look at people playing such an important game with so many high stakes, the old man is gone. He suddenly vanished. Vamos, he's gone. In his place, exactly like the set pieces I told you. Remember? I said when they're doing Romeo and Juliet, they're not making the pieces as you watch the play. They already know that it's going to be Romeo and Juliet in the garden, Romeo and Juliet and the brothers fighting in the plaza, Romeo and Juliet in the forest. They have prepared all the set pieces and they simply put them Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, the final stabbing of the lovers. They set them up before you ever enter the theater because you have come to see a show. And then as they finish the first act, two guys will come and run off with the first set. And suddenly you will be in the second set and the third and the fourth. And so now they've run off with the old man set. And all of a sudden you have a much younger woman carrying all the talking points that let's not think too deeply about it. America loves. America loves first. America loves to innovate. We've got our first this. We've got our first gay president. We've got our first. That word rolls off the tongue. First female, first of color. Suddenly now, ex-President Trump is the older man. Now he will face the questions of, is he up to 4 years? The points gap is narrowing rapidly simply because of marketing and the role it plays on a nation whose brains have always been cooked by whatever set piece you put in front of it. If you don't know how to watch for what is happening to you in your own country, then you will simply be a victim of it, and that will be the end of it. And so, the Lord is telling us that we will see abrupt changes in government. As long-standing partisan members, this means partisan to red, partisan to blue, God says that they will be ousted in surprise twists and turns that will suddenly replace them with fresh new faces that nobody knows anything much about. God says that Kamala Harris has a new team waiting behind the wings, behind the set pieces, and once you have worn out your welcome, she will get down to work. What does it mean? Once you have worn out your welcome. Isn't it supposed to be once she has worn out her welcome? No, God says that you are the uninvited guest. You are the plus one here, United States of America, not your first queen. Worn out your welcome means once you finish cheering, first. Young people, I'm warning you, think critically. This might be the last section of your life that you get to do that. This might be the last section of your life where you get to think. Once you finish cheering, God says once you finished exhausting all the talking points, the first female, first black, first. God says after you've made the exact mistake that you made with Obama, not using sense, but using eye service to applaud him, God says Kamala will then start showing her true colors, and won't you be offended? But he says it doesn't make any difference because you cannot take her out of the seat. She will bring back some of the same faces you hated during the Obama presidency. And Lord says she's going to call them trusted friends, my advisors. And he says you will roll up your face like, wait a minute. Yet it will be too late. So during this man's presidency, he had his little inner circle. And as time went by and people began to see him for what he is, began to see him for the president of the dropped ball, The man who promised so much that he won a Nobel for doing exactly nothing. America, did you forget that your president won a Nobel for doing squats? He had accomplished nothing. He had barely started to warm the chair, and he was awarded a peace prize when he actually accomplished no peace anywhere. A first. So the Lord says that when you've worn out your welcome, when you've put away the pom-poms, when the ticker tape is done, when she's in, when you have exhausted all the talking points that we are going to have to suffer through between now and then. This is the first time that we've seen a pivot like this. Did you know that the people had to go running to the record books to see if what they did was legal? Did you know that? Did you see how many newscasters said, we're still waiting to hear back, but there's no precedent for this, for pulling a looky-loo, for pulling a spin doctor. We're 8 seconds away from the election, and these people have just, it's not even Biden needs to rest at Camp David and then he will come back. It's like, whoosh, gone. Hello, new doll. And the other team is now on the back foot. They had to go and rush and see, is this actually legal to do? That's how new and novel it is. And yet people are claiming, oh, we knew, we saw it coming. Continue to rob God of his glory. You'll get the day to meet him and he will cross his legs and wait for you to explain everything that you saw coming. Once you've exhausted all the talking points, first female, first black, first this, first that, he says after you've made all the same mistakes that you made with Obama, yet again, not using sense, but using only eye service. Now, eye service, this is something that I made sure to put in my recent idolatry video. I put clips there for you to set your eyes on, because the Lord has always told you, United States of America, that you have extreme amnesia. How quickly you forget who you are, how you behave, and what you do. So then you will say, when God accuses you of idolatry, you will say, you have not done these things. So I was inspired in my heart to go and find the clips that will show you who you were when Obama was in office and who you were when Trump is in office. And the pictures tell a very obvious story. Obama's worship came predominantly from the liberal sector, predominantly led by Black people, Black women. Oprah was instrumental in stumping for that man. Other countries who might be listening would find American politics very strange. For the politics of other countries, the politicians must run for themselves. And civilized nations who are sober sit and listen. What will you do for us in healthcare? How will you keep our children safe? We don't have to worry about gun violence because we're not Americans. But what will you do for the roads? And how will you increase the jobs? And can you lower the age of retirement? They listen to the talking points. But here, it's a hot mess. This is the only country where you can hear that a celebrity, this is a person who probably has a grade 6 education at best from Arkansas, but was pretty, ran away from Arkansas, went to LA, is now a major, major face and personality. But in terms of college education, but then we will see as the headlines, so-and-so endorses. Really? Can you spell endorsement? Can you use the word in a sentence? Some of them are geniuses. Some of them are well taught. Some of them not so much. But this is the only country where a singer, a rapper, will endorse a political candidate, and that becomes a feather in the political candidate's cap. Your madness must be reflected back at you so that you can sober-mindedly see who you are. For without seeing who you are, one can never repent. So I put the worship there. And what I noticed is exactly what I was telling you about how incumbency gives you the power. When it came time to find how the media has treated the presidents, I could barely find a decent Time magazine cover for ex-President Trump. I could barely find it. Fact checkers of the internet, go and fact check it. Put in Donald Trump Time magazine cover and see the junk that comes up. They depict him as a bully. They depict him as a scary X factor. They put him shrouded in darkness as if it's his obituary. I could find only one decent cover befitting of someone who won his election, fair and square. He didn't take a red crayon and cover the map of America. He won his election. His covers are abstract, weird Picassos. They have him sitting at his desk, a tsunami flooding in, his hair blowing one way, and a tongue-in-cheek caption. Nothing to see here. As if to say, pay no attention to what we must endure. Obama's time in office? Let's look into it, America. What did I, Celestial, find? For I do the due diligence and I go to nobody's channel and say rubbish. What did I find? I found that for the entire time that Obama was merely campaigning, he had almost 5 Time magazine covers. The contender is the next president? Question mark, question mark, question mark. He got Time magazine covers just for breathing. He was running the same race that McCain was running. He was getting Time magazine coverage, front covers, just for existing and being brown. And there's a whole contingent in this country that is choking in the gills because they can hear that Celestial is bold enough to tell them that the next whip of massa on their back is going to be both black and female, or at least a Southeast Asian pretending to be black. The women are choking on it. They're coming all into my comments and stressing me out. I just feel that this will be a setback for women. Fix your feelings. Fix your feelings. Fix your thinking level. Stop being a turkey on the ground pecking at the corn and begin to soar into the heavens and think like God thinks. For instance, who's riding the back of the harlot in Revelation 17? Is it a man? Is it a male? Is it a guy? Is it a sir who rides the back of the beast? And this word, Babylon, harlot. What's a harlot? Woman of the night, a lady of negotiable virtue. If you have a fat enough wallet or even a couple of singles, you can buy some of her talents. Is that a woman or is it a man? If it is a woman in the Bible before I was born, why are you touched? Because you don't study the Bible. You live inside your feelings. Your feelings are a little hut that you live in. And then you want me to come and camp in the hut with you. Well, I'm just saying it will paint women in a bad light. The whole book of Revelation is not about women. It is about the will of Jesus Christ to a wicked world. You have to catch up because I'm not going to slow my stride for you. NASA on their back is going to be both black and female, or at least a Southeast Asian pretending to be black. The women are choking on it. They're coming all into my comments and stressing me out. I just feel that this will be a setback for women. Fix your feelings. Fix your feelings. Fix your thinking level. Stop being a turkey on the ground pecking at the corn and begin to soar into the heavens and think like God thinks. For instance, who do you see riding the back of the harlot in Revelation 17? A woman in the Bible before I was born. Why are you touched? Because you don't study the Bible. You live inside your feelings. Your feelings are a little hut that you live in. And then you want me to come and camp in the hut with you. Well, I'm just saying it will paint women in a bad light. The whole book of Revelation is not about women. It is about the will of Jesus Christ to a wicked world. You have to catch up because I'm not going to slow my stride for you. People in this nation are struggling because the next phase of struggle comes at the hand of a woman. And then other people in this nation are struggling because the final phase of torture comes at the hand of a black person. They're happy when they hear that Jesus isn't who we traditionally thought he was, a win for us. But then when they find out that Satan's glamour boy looks like them, all of a sudden, it's Celestial's fault. She's not reading the Bible right. She's misinterpreting things. Perhaps I got it wrong. Can you go back to God and just ask him, why is it always black people? I guess because it's always you. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's always you because it's always you. That's as good an answer to a senseless question as any. Because why is God not allowed to speak? Why can God not speak the truth without getting tangled in gender politics or color politics? Would he meet the same difficulty if he went to another continent? Would he meet the same difficulty if he went to Korea where they all look the same? He wouldn't.